At Brown University, the Rothberg Catalyzer Fund has enabled the creation of Engineering Medical Care Change, or EMC Squared, a group working to develop a novel wireless ambulatory EEG system.
From the very beginning, we have established ourselves as a collaborative student-run group. That is, students from neuroscience, engineering, and computer science, from all academic levels, working towards one goal: to change how we understand epilepsy.
To bolster the dedicated work of the students, several experts have guided us throughout the process in establishing our goals and criteria for the project. These include Sid Cash, neurologist from MassGen, Wilson Truccolo from Brown's Computational Neuroscience Department, and Brian Demers from the Nelson Center of Entrepreneurship here at Brown.
We have also had the pleasure of working with Wael Assad, neurosurgeon at the Rhode Island Hospital, Chris Bull, director of the Brown Design Workshop, and our lead advisors, David Borton, neuroengineering faculty here at Brown, and Jennifer Casasanto, Dean of Engineering.
Our project is divided into 3 subgroups comprising the BME implant group, another one working on the electronic insertion aspects, and a third on the data science and computation. So epilepsy is thought to be caused by a lack of inhibition in the brain, which leads to overexcitation of neurons and asynchronous firing patterns that eventually cause what we call a grand mal seizure. So this is the main symptom of epilepsy that we see in diagnosed patients.
So currently 150,000 lives are affected annually in the United States. So this is why we're trying to build a solution for this to make diagnosis easier.
And currently, the standard way of diagnosing epilepsy is using EEG or electroencephalogram, which make it possible to identify irregular firing patterns in the brain.
So to reiterate, we will be creating a device that's unique in its ability to be placed underneath the skin without requiring a complex OR and can be an outpatient procedure. We will be able to have streamlined data that can be found on a phone, which hasn't been done before. And this data is very useful because it will be unique to the patient and thus be allowed to predict epileptic seizures. Eventually also, there are many other companies just interested in knowing what the brain does, and this long-term data will be useful for that too.
I definitely built a lot of research skills in this project because I would be given a task and I wouldn't know anything about it, and I would have to go and do some research, put together my thoughts, and then present it to the group. So definitely like translating things from my own understanding to being able to inform others on it was a skill that I developed. When you have experts and people who have worked on a project for a long time who really know a lot, it's really helpful to just reach out and get their opinion, because odds are it'll be a lot more useful than a Google search that will point you in like 12 different directions.
This was the semester where I started learning more about engineering and taking more engineering classes, and from interacting with people who have more of an engineering background, I realized how there are different ways of thinking and looking into the problem and looking into things that have to be improved.
Doing this project has been really interesting from a low power electronics perspective. EEG systems, usually being external, don't have these kinds of constraints on size or power. So designing something that would fit these parameters as well as conforming to the normal EEG specs has been an interesting challenge.
Working with Ethan on the EE team has been a wonderful experience. He's taught me a lot about engineering that I normally wouldn't have had a chance to look at, for another few years maybe.
During the semester, we tried to figure out what our goal should be for the project, and as we changed the goal, with the constraints and tools we had, we learned how to approach each problem differently and be creative about our solutions.
I think that's the coolest part of our project, is where it could go from here. A constant stream of brain waves and brain activity data would, no matter what, even if you're going with your daily life, you have the device in place for 3 months.